All right. Hey, everyone. Let me just ensure that this is working. Okay, awesome. All right. Let me just hit this other button. And so we are recording as well. Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kavita Singh. Welcome to this series of videos that I am doing right now. Um, So thank you all for joining, for those of you who are live, and for those of you who will catch the replay. Uh, thank you for being here. So what's been happening is I've been on this amazing and terrifying at times journey of really catching the nuances in um, our limitations in our programming and in our operating system and what that really means. Because I have noticed that we have spent a lot of time and invested a lot in releasing our blocks and limitations, and yet sometimes they seem to resurface. And just like many of you, I have started this path of seeking the truth, of wanting to know more, and of wanting to know really how the mind works, how the brain works with the mind, how it works, how it connects with the soul, um, our higher consciousness, and what our roadmap for our life looks like, right? Because really, it's not supposed to be difficult. um, as in, we're wandering around clueless, not knowing, you know, what's what we're meant to do and all of that. So I started my meditation journey actually at the age of 16 in my quest to know more and to know God and to be connected to that energy and to operate from that space. And from that point to now, I have gone through a lot of modalities, a lot of systems, a lot of things. And where I am right now, it's really beautiful and really fascinating because I can see the tiny tweaks and the nuances that tends to trip us up to get us back into old patterns. And really, if we address those things, our lives are so much better because of it. So that's what I really want to share with you with these set of videos. Of course, there will be other spaces to address the bigger concepts and how all of this really works, and also a space for you, if you so desire, to bring your own stories to the table, your own patterns, and we can work through them. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the topic. And so, as you notice, it's a very fascinating topic today. All right. The topic is the subtle energetic downfall in decision making and what to do about it. So, we all know the importance of decisions. Like when we're confused about something, we tend to stay in that muddled energy, and till we get some kind of clarity, then we're inspired to move forward with that. um, and that clarity usually helps us to come to a point of making a decision. But here is what happens when we actually make a decision, because in making a decision, we run with it. The default programming is, once you feel good about it and the energy feels clear, run with it, make that decision. And while that has worked, it's not always served our highest and greatest good. um, because truly, when we are unclear about something or we feel that way, um, It's a space in our default makeup where there is an unknown in our reality, or not, it's something not yet in our awareness. And when there is an unknown factor, that means that's a space for magic. And what I mean by magic, it's how we're designed, where there's a part of us that can access the unknown energy and make it known. And it doesn't mean that it needs to come into a space of, well, now I have all my facts or all my ducks in a row, then I can take action. It's actually in taking the action, you make it known, like you unlock a door, you unlock an energetic portal, you unlock um, a new awareness, whatever it means for you and whatever is required at that time. That's what is really being unlocked. And that's why I refer to it as magic, because it's actually beyond what you currently think it should be, expected to be, or beyond your human comprehension of what it should look like. And so it's always beyond your wildest imagination. That's the way I like to describe it. And it brings up new energies, new possibilities, and works in a way that you didn't expect. It actually shortens time and space in you doing this um, in an efficient way. And you are surprised and delighted by having the outcome of your desire. All right. So that's what it looks like in the execution of it. Um, and yet the fine tuning here, and the reason why we're here today, it's because of the whole nuance in making that actual decision. So this stuff that I'm about to tell you, while it sounds simple and it may seem obvious after you hear it, in the actual application of it, you've got to catch yourself and see what happens in your reality. All right. So uh, I can see with this tip and this fine tuning how much time and effort it would save me had I known it or applied it in the past. And yet, it's not about regret or anything like that. It's actually in knowing it now, I value it so much because I see how much it impacts everything. All right. And I'm really excited to share that with you at this point. So, because there's the unknown factor that we already discussed, the answer or the next step in resolving that uh, challenge actually comes from your intuition. All right, it doesn't come from your logical thinking. And let me make a note about that for you so that you get this clearly. Your logical mind works with all known factors. Once the things are on the table, your logical mind knows what to do. It will be like, okay, we're putting these things together, we're building that thing, it does it beautifully. Your logical mind is not capable of handling things that are unknown. All right. And therefore, if you're facing something that's unknown, your logical mind cannot be in the driver's seat of your life. It's your intuition that is required at that time and at that moment. Now, here's a funny thing about your intuition. It may sound so obvious sometimes that you dismiss it. Sometimes it may sound so absurd that you dismiss it, right? You're like, oh no, I'm not doing that. That is not the thing. Um, Sometimes it may whisper the answer to you and may be so gentle and soft in its way and the way it approaches you that you miss it, right? Sometimes it may be loud and screaming, especially if you're in danger in that moment, that it shocks you, you know. So the way your intuition works, it's meant to serve your highest and greatest good. And yet it's not there to play a dictatorship role in your life. It will not do that. It will say whatever it needs to say once, um, and you either catch it and execute it, or you miss it, dismiss it, whatever you're doing with it, and that's how it has been playing out in your life. And so you're in a space where you're making a conscious decision to execute that intuition every time it shows up for you, right? Because it's here and then it's gone. That's the whole point of magic. Um, and so what happens? It will say the thing that you need to do. Not that you need to do, that you require, that is required of you, right? Um, and let's say that you heard it, and that thing might be pick up the phone and call this person. And you're like, okay, got it. But in that moment that you hear that, this is what I found. Another decision, this is especially if you self-sabotage, your saboteur finds really sneaky ways to trip you up. Another decision shows up and then you go, oh, wait a minute, but I had an outstanding book for this person, so let me see if I can get my hands on that before I call them, right? And again, it seems logical, but what's actually happening, right? And this is us decoding the nuance, is that you are being distracted by another decision, another activity, and then you're going to reach for that thing. And the moment that that person is actually holding the phone or near the phone so that they can take your call is going to soon pass. So by the time you go around to getting the book and then you're making the call and then the person doesn't answer and then you're like, oh, well, that didn't work. There is some more waiting that happens. And so this is how you know when you either miss the opportunity of acting immediately from that magician energy when it shows up through your intuition, or because you will be in your magician in acting that role, or you're missing that energetic foundation completely. And it shows up as waiting, right? So you're not even in your magician in taking this, so then you don't get to resolve the unknown, and there's just more waiting. um, so that's a perfect way of catching yourself if it you didn't do it the way it's meant to be done. I didn't want to go say the right way, but the way it is meant to be done, because right is individualized energy to you. Nobody can really tell you what's right, but you will know what's right for you in each moment, because as you execute things and you shift your energy and you build your energetic frequency, uh, the context of right changes. There is absolute truth, and then there's truth, and the way we play with that is is dependent on where we are energetically, what our perception is, and the our beliefs and reasons in taking action. So let me land that a little bit more with a concrete example. So, for instance, I can say, my neighbor is sick. I do have time and I do care for my neighbor. Therefore, I want to help them, right? And that would be a great thing. And there is nothing wrong in that decision. It's a beautiful thing to do. Yet, if I am doing that by seeing something that is there that I have the ability to do, and I'm choosing to do it, but I'm also not taking care of me, as in I drop all my standards and requirements for myself in terms of my health and all of that, and I'm rushing to save somebody else and to be by their side. That reasoning behind my decision is not a right it will not be a right decision, because then I will create even more things to take care of, because my energy that I'm coming from is not right, yet if all of those things were already in place and my frequency is good, and I feel the desire shows up for me to serve that person, and I go and I do it, and then it's done and they're grateful and I move on my merry way, then automatically even more things shows up for me, that in ways in which I am supported, right? And this is through the lens of mirrors. There are other ways in which energy shows up, but this is one of the ways that you naturally know. And as you build your energy even more, then you don't need to play games of mirrors as well. So that's for a higher conversation, uh, maybe in one of our coaching packages. But for now, this is what I know that you're aware of, and I want to share this with you so that you can really land this. So think of ways in which your intuition has shown up for you, and you knew what to do, and then you got sidetracked with another decision. Because that's the whole tiny tweak in this. Because if that's happening for you, then it's definitely that your saboteur is in the room, and you get to choose differently. Now, if you are interested in knowing more about how to really catch the saboteur and to get rid of it, it from not playing such a dominant role in your life, then there are more one-on-one and group containers for that. So let me know what has shown up for you from this recording and for this call, and we will dive deeper in that. All right. So thank you for that. And I'm going to jump and see the questions here, and then we will go and address that, and then we will end the call. So great. So there are some questions that I'd love for you to catch as you're playing with this to go deeper. So if it is that you don't know yet what to do, saboteur is in the room. But these questions will help you to dig deeper. All right. So you can make a note of these questions. First, ask yourself, how do you make decisions? All right. How do you make your decisions? The second question that I have for you to increase your awareness around this is, what do you do when you doubt yourself? What do you do when you doubt yourself? And the third question that I have for you is, how do you know that it's the right decision? How do you know that it's the right decision that you have made? All right. So please, I'd love to hear your feedback for these questions that I've put on the table for you. And for those of you who have messaged me, I will reach out to you personally and answer those questions as well, and get back to you with your comments. For those of you catching the recording, you can reach me at kavitasingtoday@gmail.com. You can email your questions to me, or if you're seeing this through any social media platform, definitely tag me, and I will respond to your answers or your questions or your concerns. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk again soon. Love you all. Bye.